Hey, what's up guys? It's Luke, Black Sheep 217 on Pokemon the Trading Card Game online and at Zoom Battle Gym on Facebook. You can also find me on Twitter at PokeEverything. I'd love to connect with you on social media. Today, to talk about a pretty nice combo of cards here. Yesterday I talked about Crushing Hammer and how I always tend to put 4 of those in my deck. If I use it, I feel like I'm just going to go all or nothing. Now, you may or may not do that same type of thing. It's just sort of my mentality. I don't know. It could change. I mean, I'm definitely open to change, but Crushing Hammer is a card I always put either 4 of in or none of. This is the way I play it. Anyways, I have a couple of cards here that I think are pretty good. And these are the ones I found because there are like cheaper versions of this card, but this is one I had because I just picked it up. This is a Galarian Zigzagoon, and it's very cheap. This is the shiny version, so this one's not nearly as cheap, but if you want the regular, common version, pick it up for nothing, like pennies, literally. And then this is Scoop Up Net, which you can also pick up for pennies, but this is, of course, the gold version. So why are these two cards any good? So let me explain something to you. First of all, in playing Pokemon, what I found is the way the people who have developed Pokemon have done things is a lot of the Pokemon attacks attack Pokemon right up to the point where they knock them out, but they won't. So for example, let's say, I can't think of one in particular right now, but let's say a Pokemon has 200 hit points, but the attack does 190. Stuff like that happens all the time. And a lot of times it's not just a difference of 10, but maybe it's a difference of 20 or 30 hit points. So, somebody has an attack that does 270 damage, but the Pokemon has 300 HP. Or it does 300 damage, or because like Charizard. I'm trying to build a Charizard deck right now, and the Charizard can deal 300 damage. Charizard VMAX does 300 damage. It's insane. But a lot of the VMAX Pokemon have, just a little bit over 300 hit points, right? Like 320, 330, even 340. So Charizard VMAX can't just knock him out in one hit, even though you think he should be able to, but he doesn't. So that's a little bit frustrating. Now, you could use boosters like Leon to add some damage, but Leon is a supporter, and if I use Leon, first of all, I have to have that card specifically right then and there, and I couldn't have used another supporter card, because Leon, which adds 30 to the attack, is a supporter card. So if I used another supporter card before that, I'd be out of luck. Couldn't do it. So this combination, Galarian Zigzagoon and Scoop Up Net, are a whole lot of fun to use, and I actually use this quite a bit in my Eternatus deck because Galarian Zigzagoon is a dark type Pokemon and works perfectly in an Eternatus V deck. Also works in this Charizard deck that I'm kind of trying to build, because I'm trying to make a Charizard deck that actually is competitive, and it's not that easy to do, believe it or not. Anyways, this is what Galarian Zigzagoon does. Let me read the ability, because the ability is what's important here. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may put 1 damage counter on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Seems pretty minuscule. You play this card onto the bench, and you put 1 damage counter, 1 little damage counter, that means 10 points of damage, onto one of the opponent's Pokemon. Seems pretty minuscule. However, if you know precisely the kind of attacks you have in your deck and how much you need to deal in order to knock the opponent's Pokemon out in maybe 1 hit instead of 2, that makes a huge difference. I've mentioned it over and over again, but Pokemon is a game of things just winning or losing by 1 turn. You win or lose by 1 turn. Getting this little bit of damage in will make a huge difference. And in combination with Scoop Up Net, it can be game changing. So Scoop Up Net says put one of your Pokemon that is in a V or a GX into your hand. Discard all attached cards. So Scoop Up Net, and Galarian Zigzagoon. What you do, you play Galarian Zigzagoon, and then you deal 10 damage. And then you scoop them up right back into your hand, you play them again for another 10 damage. That's annoying. That's 20 damage already. Let's say you have 4 Galarian Zigzagoons and 4 Scoop Up Nets. You're going to be dealing a not insignificant amount of damage. Now, it's not going to be hundreds of damage, but it's not going to be insignificant. It's going to be enough damage that will, number one, annoy your opponent. But number two, it's going to be enough where you can probably get someone like Zacian or another GX Pokemon with a good attack to take out your opponent's big, bad Pokemon on the other side. And trust me, it's gotten to work. Or, let's say they have a Pokemon on the bench who you've whittled down. Yeah, that's right. You can finish them off with a well-timed Galarian Zigzagoon. And then, of course, the Scoop Up Net's just icing on the cake because you get them back and you get to do it all over again. It's a really fun strategy. This sort of indirect damage is a ton of fun to use, and it can be pretty annoying. If you use it wrong, though, and you're just kind of spreading out that 10 damage, it's going to be really useless. So you really have to be careful where you put your damage counters and how you place them. You got to think, which of those Pokemon on their side can I take out? Because once you do that, and you have a plan in place, these can be deadly. Deadly, a deadly combination right here. Galarian Zigzagoon and the Scoop Up Net. So right now, some good deck types to put him in. Well, the number one deck type to put him in is you could put him in the Eternatus V deck. Okay, VMAX, where you're trying to get Dark Pokemon out anyways. Eternatus V does a bunch of damage. Adding the Galarian Zigzagoon damage can really help you out. I actually tried using the Zigzagoons in a Zacian deck to help me out. So I had Zacian with his sword, the new sword that came out, and it's just a powerhouse of damage. And of course I'm trying it with the Charizard because the Charizard is an amazing Pokemon. He can deal 300 damage a turn, provided he can discard 2 fire energy every turn. That's powerful. But I have found that 300 damage that Charizard VMAX deals is either just not enough to kill off the opponent's really big VMAX Pokemon, or way too much damage needed to kill off, their weaker Pokemon. So it's like it sits in this weird middle place that is kind of useless, if I'm being honest. But if you can do that 300 damage and add a little bit more to it, you're going to be golden. So let me know if you use Galarian Zigzagoon or not, or if you've thought about using the Galarian Zigzagoon. I think it's a very viable card. You see it quite often. I see it when I play online. It's a fun card to use. Not an expensive card, unless you want it to be. You can get the shiny version, like this. Same thing with Scoop Up Net. Scoop Up Net is like a very common card, unless you get the gold one. And you can be Mr. Fancy Pants. But anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have fun playing the game, and I will see you next time.